Hi, I'm Dr. Rudy Cashman. Thanks for watching our show. I'm the Wellness Director for Lutheran Health Network. I'm Dr. Wellness, and I have to thank Mayor Henry, who for the 8th time the other day said, "Hi, Dr. Wellness." I'm highly complimented by that, okay, because that's my gig at this time. I was a neurosurgeon over 45 years and enjoyed it very much, but I noticed that last 30, 35 years. I think it went back actually 40 because someone stood up at a lecture recently I gave last week actually and gave me a note that she had written about her visit to my office 40 years ago. It was interesting because I had complimented her on her being a vegetarian and she was having some neck pain or something and I thought she had fibromyalgia. So my way of thinking goes back many years. I thought 80% of the patients I saw in all my years of practice, I could coach them to get well without doing anything fancy. Interesting, isn't that interesting? So this continued to be my passion. I've written probably 18 books, a number of TV shows, and I get a radio show now. And so I really feel privileged, and I thank Spirit of the universe for allowing to give me this privilege, and the people are responding. I see people all the time walking up to me, "Hey, my diabetes is gone, I'm much better now, my headaches are gone." So this is really great. Today I will be speaking about to create a culture of wellness. What we have, I think, is a culture of illness throughout the world, probably throughout the world, not everywhere, but I think too many pharmaceuticals, too many procedures, no one pays attention first. So to get this into a more realistic level, I created this culture of wellness circle. I have about 8 things on it. I could put 1,000 things on it, but to make it understandable, I thought the number one most important thing is that you have to accept some self-responsibility and participate in your health care. I mean that you can't do that in every case. You had a sudden heart attack, you fell out on an airplane. I mean, you could do that at that point. What I'm saying is majority of the time, we can't just say, here's the script, see you later. No, that's just not acceptable. Every visit to a doctor, with a rare exception, should be accompanied by a provider, nurse practitioner, whatever, physician, with a 5-minute discussion and how you could assume some of your own health care, be informed about it, how you could get well through eating right, through exercise, through stress reduction. It needs to be taught at the medical school level. It is not. I've been there. I saw that curriculum at my Alumni Association meeting, and it was very upsetting. That should be the mainstay. 70-80% of all illnesses are preventable. David Katz wrote Disease Proof, the biggest public health official in the country. A beautiful book. He's a friend of mine, and he says 93% of type 2 diabetes can be avoided, eliminated, prevented. 80% of vascular disease, 60% of cancer can be avoided by watching what you put on your fingers, on your forks, and how you use your feet. There's opportunity for you. And so number one is, I like you to participate in your health care, and you have to gain information. We all like information, including myself. I'm learning stuff every day, but I read a lot, look at the internet a lot, listen to people tell me the story. The most common thing I see the patient and what's going on in your life. Then I begin to understand the patient's illness that they wanted to work on in the context of their life. That's the biggest advice I have to medical providers. Look at the patient's illness in the context of their life. That's not any tests, so it's not taught very much. Use the internet, read books, get other opinions. And that can even lead you astray, but the more information in most cases can be helpful. And so let's go around the wheel a little bit. Nutrition, that's really the biggest one. Okay, remember we spoke about the fingers, the forks, and how we use your feet. But what you eat, it has a great deal to do with how your health is going to be. Are you eating meat 7 days a week? Do you know the difference between vegetables and meat products and supplements and exercise? Nutrition, what I generally recommend, I mean, certainly there's plenty of books out on that, and you hardly know what to do. But I follow the work of Esselstyn, Furman, Dean Ornish, McDougall, eat a nutrient-dense diet. What's nutrient-dense? Well, the vitamins, the mineral vitamins, about 13, minerals, about 22. And the phytochemicals are enzymes, 25,000 phytochemicals, that run the metabolism of your body, and they're located mainly in plant foods, because plants picked up the energy of the universe and picked up energy in the ground, the water, and made the food products. That's what the animal eats. So when you're eating an animal, what are you eating? What that animal ate. Depends what they fed to that animal, okay? So if you get those vitamins, nutrients in your body, it repair. There's a doctor living within you, Herb Benson would say, that can repair most things in your body. But if you're eating the wrong food, say mainly animal products that have been fed bad fats, have a trough go in front of them, and they're slopping up all this bad fat made from genetically modified corn and chicken litter and chicken products, and fish that are fed nothing but fat products, and you're eating it, and that fish is not from the ocean, you're going to eat in a very unhealthy way. So, and also what's the good news is in nutrition is that if you eat nutrient-dense food, like in nature, the genetic structure of the food in nature will rearrange your body. It's called biomathematics. You'll look good. You know, you have 3 leaves, 5 leaves, 8 leaves, 13 leaves. That's biomathematics, Fibonacci numbers. If you eat nutrient-dense food, it'll make you look beautiful. Remember Columbus came here and he described how gorgeous the natives were compared to in Europe? Because they were eating mainly foods from nature. Their bodies were being rearranged by nature. So good nutrition is important. You should check and make sure you have proper body mass index. You can get a table off the internet or measure your belly. If you have fat on your belly, you get a wheat belly, a pot belly. If you're apple shape, steroid shape, whatever, belly fat makes 20 NAS chemicals. It's a gland. So you're not eating the right foods. You got to start eating the right food, and that stuff will drop off. I don't want you dieting. I want you eating the right food, because it takes a lot of energy to metabolize the right food. And if you want to lose, you feel like you need to lose a couple of pounds, eating the right food will do it, because you can save 300 to 800 calories a day by eating nutrient-dense food, because it's water-dense, it's fiber-dense, it's calorie-low, and takes up a lot of energy to metabolize it. You'll lose a lot of weight right there. Eat all you want of nutrient-dense food, okay? And understand the science of that. Eat Dr. Furman's book, Secret and Undiet, my book. Read Esselstyn's work. Next on my wellness wheel of 8, physical fitness. That's important. Did I ask you to lift big weights? No. Just take a walk. A half-hour walk 7 days a week. Plenty. 5 days a week, some would even say. That improves the metabolism of your body. It causes brain cell growth. Your brain cell will grow more if you exercise regularly. It causes secretion of endorphins, good hormones that make you feel good. I take a half-hour walk every morning, and I'm playing. And now I'm taking singing lessons. So I'm singing to the birds, and I've got a red bird singing back to me every day. I take a walk. It used to be a red-winged blackbird another season, but now I notice a red bird stands in the same tree, same limb every day, and is tweeting me his songs. And I noticed this morning he figured out where I lived, and I feed the birds there, and I can't believe it. He's sitting on the bird feeder, looking through the window at me, and he's tweeting at me. And I whistled back, and I think, if I can hear him, he can hear me. He's just standing there doing it. I can't believe that, but that happened today. So that's relaxing, okay? Now, we have something called high-intensity intermittent training. That's where you walk a little faster for 30 seconds, and then a little slower for 30 seconds. That improves your VO2 max, your ability to use oxygen in your lungs quite a bit compared to just running a mile, okay? So high intensity intermittent training, I don't mean high intensity, just speed it up a little. You're on a treadmill, go 3 miles to maybe 4 or to 3.5, go up and down for 10 minutes or so. You will improve your fitness level a great deal. And the more fit you are, the more, these METs, they call them METs, determine your longevity, okay? You're 2 or 3, you got a problem. You're 10 to 15, man, you're well off. You're gonna live longer. So exercise is important. And as we get older, we lose 3% of our muscle mass every year. It'll be substituted by fat. So to do some light weight lifting, light weight lifting. Do you need to use free weights? Not absolutely, but I do. I go to Planet Fitness and I use them, and around 25 pounds down, and then go back up, and do some. And I do some yoga exercise. You don't have to use weights for yoga, so you can learn that off a video, get an instructor, and use no weights at all. I've seen people look like movie stars just do yoga. Dr. Varula, my friend, the pediatrician, his body's like a piece of steel, and he does nothing but yoga. It takes these positions and they hold them, does deep breathing to relax the mind, meditation. And it's an excellent way. 20 minutes of yoga a day turned him into a piece of steel. You can do it. So now I do that for about 15 minutes in addition to my light weights that I do. And maybe 10 minutes on the treadmill, 5 minutes on the elliptical, 5 minutes on the bike. And the rest is muscle work, 1 hour. I'm playing music in my ears, so I'm dancing, singing songs while I'm doing it. Man, is that relaxing. So I recommend exercise highly. Develop some, number 3 on my list here, develop some spirituality in your life. I think that's a good thing. People of faith do better. They just do. Because the way you think affects your neurotransmitters, your hormones, and your peptides of your brain, and they affect your receptors in your cells in your body. Your brain speaks to your body. So if you're a spiritual person and have faith and believe, I know a nurse, Kathy Paleo, went to Africa for 2 weeks, and she met the most poorest people, the refugees that had fled, but they all had very strong religious faith, and they were surviving really based on their faith. You'll do better if you go to church regularly, especially your kids. Certainly you can do well without that too. But there's no doubt. I spoke to a charitable organization recently. Matter of fact, it was the Lutheran Foundation who got the money when they sold Lutheran Hospital, and they were dealing with the county around us, giving money back. Isn't that wonderful? Because the money came from there. They found half of the people in the county that are doing poorly had no religion. That's a poor sign. We need some faith. There are times in our life where we just need it. So even if you just connect with the energy of the universe, something. If you can't pick up some major religion, I didn't say which one. Just be spiritual. It will cause you to be healthier. Okay, and number 4 on my list is your way of life. It's a process. Being well is a process. So it involves nutrition, exercise, spirituality. It's a way of living. It's a way of living. Wellness. If you need a little bit of help, the Daniel Plan by Rick Warren, Mark Hyman, Dr. Amen is a very good book. It's wellness and religion, tied from quotes out of the Bible or any other religious book that you want to use. But that's another good way. And then to get yourself educated, you need information to learn to live correctly. There's plenty of stuff on the internet, plenty of books you can read. How to get healthy. So build up the information, which I've done over the years. I remember I'm a neurosurgeon, but now I've read so many books that I begin to know a lot about nutrition and exercise. And as you get older, take a music lesson, dance lessons. That's what I do. I did a dance lesson. I take a singing lesson. Not that I'm that great at any of them, but boy, I sure have a lot of fun with it. I stood up at Sweetwater on Thursday and sang a song, New York, New York. Can't believe it. I was a public speaker. I thought maybe I could sing. Nothing great yet, but who knows down the line. Have something going for you, okay? So education, where does it begin? Actually, a senator from Iowa at President Reagan's time, they studied that for 4 years, and they came up, you know what they came up? education begins before birth. Yeah. What mother and father ate, how they exercised, what they did, start educating the body, and that is very interesting. So it's not at age 4 or 5 or 6. Education of the body and the brain begins, even, but most people say at birth. No, it's even before that. Okay, so people that are more educated live longer, incidentally. Maybe they develop better habits, who knows. So integrate the mind, body, and the spirit is on my list, and that's a big one. Medicine today, we used to call it years ago, 1800s, hysteria. Then it was called neurasthenia, 1850, 1920. They used to have institutions in Kalamazoo where they locked people up because of stress and things for years. Then they psychosomatic disease, people with symptoms, but nothing's found. Alexander wrote a book on that. And then he stopped talking about it. Why is that? I read Candace Pert's book. I encourage you to read it. In 1972, she published it. How does the mind speak to the body? Through neurotransmitters, through hormones, through neuropeptides. So how you think affects the receptors on your 70 trillion cells and affects your thought process, how you feel. Your white cells, they found out now, make those same neurotransmitters, neuropeptides and hormones, and speaks and return back to your brain. So it's brain, body, body, brain. But today, that's ignored. Molecules of Emotion by Candace Pert, great book to read. I read it many, many, many years ago. That's why I'm kind of tipped, got some of my thought process going here. And the reason this technology is so good, they like to relate your symptoms with something on the CT or on the MRI or a rare blood test, when it really may not have any relationship whatsoever. Let's do this to your spine. Let's do this to your body. Let's take out the gallbladder. And sometimes, of course, it's needed. Absolutely. I was a surgeon. I did 2 operations a year. But many times it's stress, fibromyalgia, different symptoms. So you got to learn the mind-body connection, or you'll constantly confuse yourself, your family, and your doctor. Read Molecules of Emotion. I wrote a book called Welcome to Your Mind-Body. It's on Amazon. Read it. It's got all that information in there, and it will tell you, it'll save you a lot of money in health care. And I think a good book to read. You got to know the mind-body connection. In medicine today, it's ignored. Everything's a test, a CT, an MRI, or whatever, and let's do this to you. Remember what I said? Participate in your health care. So you must understand the mind-body connection, okay? I mean, some big thing happened in the family. I remember seeing people that had, 20 operations and all kind of narcotics and all kind of things. When I asked the mother, what was the original thing that set this off? She said, is when my 16-year-old daughter died in an accident. I don't think any doctor ever asked her that. 30 MRIs, 200 injections in her back, all kind of narcotics, and she's curled up in a little ball on an examining table when she saw me. Very interesting. I used to see that sort of stuff frequently. So know the mind-body connection, okay? Integrate the mind and the body. And the next thing I'd like you to know about is know your risk factors blood tests. You are what your blood tests are. That is critical. Get proper blood screening. And if you're overweight, read Mark Hyman, How to Speak to Your Doctor, 40 pages. You can print it off the internet free. Get a 2-hour glucose tolerance test where you fast, swallow a little bit of sugar, and they get a fasting blood sugar and a serum insulin. Get a serum insulin. They get a fasting blood sugar usually. Oh, you weigh 200 pounds, but you're not diabetic. Your fasting blood sugar is normal. Baloney. You're pre-diabetic as far as I'm concerned, and the complications of diabetes occur in pre-diabetes. Many people have an unannounced heart attack in pre-diabetes, okay? Know the symptoms of angina, vascular disease, more common in diabetics. In women, it can be a pain from between the ears to the umbilicus or pubic area, right or left, front or back. Wow, most women don't know that. Some doctors don't know that. Men is usually on the left side. But you got to know that, and it can occur in the pre-diabetic state. So find out your lipids, find out your blood sugar, and I say get that testing done. You know, the heart people would say, well, age 45, unless you have some high blood pressure, some then 35. I say, remember I said when this disease began, highest rate increase in obesity is between age 2 and 6. Get them at a very young age on a yearly basis. The other day I spoke to someone that their child was found to have very abnormal lipids and blood sugars, although they were a skinny little kid. But the mother confessed that child ate every day, mainly at a fast food restaurant. Yep, true story. So get the blood work checked every year. And the beautiful thing is becoming very cheap. Theranos, company is coming along, going to be at Walgreens, like for $40 you can get all these tests done for one dinky drop of blood. Don't even have to fast. And then another company is going to, I found out the other day, is going to, a doctor can have a chip and put one in a computer and put one drop of blood on there and do all that work while you're in the office and have the result in about 20 minutes. So healthcare screening should increase tremendously in this nation, tremendously. The only darn trouble is if the providers, the nurse practitioners, the nurses, and the medical students have not been taught wellness, it may not do a lot of good. And so wellness is my gig, So that is, but I think, how are we going to get around that? I mean, we're going to get the information from pharma, okay? I go to some of those meetings, okay? People who do the procedures, are they going to teach it to you? Some will. I'm here. But boy, they're hard to find. I know, because I don't have many fellow travelers, okay? All right, but it's what I enjoy doing. It's what I do. And getting a lot of people well. My point is, Dr. Herb Benson from Harvard said many years ago, there is a doctor living within us, and he can repair most things if you develop good health habits. And did I say follow a diet? I didn't say follow a diet. I said eat nutrient-dense food, all you want, because the nutrients, the vitamins, the minerals, the phytochemicals in good food will turn your appetite off. That's right in Dr. Furman's book called Eat to Live. Eat all you want of that. If you need, we all need a snack, you know, I do. Every day I need a snack. You know what I use? Try it sometime. Dr. Furman will eat an ounce or two of nuts, actually, because they have good fiber in them. They have some fats in them. You need some fats. There are good fats and bad fats. You need some good fats. They don't raise the blood sugar, okay? And have good fiber in them. I don't turn your car into a kitchen, but I keep a few nuts in there, and if I have 2 walnuts and 2 macadamia nuts, I tell you, my appetite just goes dead within 5 minutes. Maybe it doesn't go to everybody. Maybe it takes 3, and maybe it doesn't work for you. Make sure you're not allergic to those things. But boy, I go home, and I have 0 appetite sometimes. In that wonderful, or if you feel in danger of going to a meeting and you've got to eat a lot of stuff, maybe have a few nuts beforehand or drink a lot of water and be prepared. When you eat out, be prepared and know what's coming at you and think. Maybe order first so you don't hear the other food, so you order the right food. It's difficult to eat in a restaurant. Because the things are more available, the cues are there, the eyes are there. They have you look at the dessert tray, for example. So make a plan before you eat out, and that can be helpful sometimes. I read, you're looking for cookbooks or something. Well, I don't know how to cook. Read a book, and I have nothing to do with financially. Clean Slate by Martha Stewart. It's a fantastic book. I demonstrated at many of my talks. You can go to any page, turn it over. There's 50 pages of good explanations. It's a picture of the recipe, and then there's a recipe. I've not found one yet that I don't think is healthy. I could live out of that book the rest of my life, hands down. And I'm eating meals out of it. My wife prepares meals out of it. So because how are you going to eat sometimes? Some of us don't have time to eat, to prepare food. So maybe cook some bean soup on Sunday night that'll last 3 days. Take maybe some snacks with you to work. I mean, these things are all tricky, and it's not easy, but diet is the one that's most destructive of our health. And get away from sitting disease, improve the activity of life. Because if you can increase your activity of life, say 200 calories a day by standing up when you're on the phone or taking the dog for a walk or dancing or whatever, or at work, try to pick up activity at work. If you can increase your calorie burn, say 200 calories a day, if you calculate it out, that's 20 pounds in a year. Yeah, 200 calories, 3,500 calories a pound. That can be huge. So if you increase your activity of life, AOL of life, and especially at work, it's not difficult to keep your weight under control, and that's, as you see, is a huge problem. We get 70% of the people at least overweight, maybe a 34% obesity rate. We're approaching, they think, in 10 years, a 45% obesity rate. Some ethnic groups that's higher because it's in their gene structure to retain sugar. And that's to keep in mind too. So some ethnic groups eat a lot more sugar because of socialization. Some it's through epigenetics, it's in their gene structure. They explode with sugar. So sugar's the booger, sugar's the hooker. That's 70-80% of it. The rest is bad fats. So it's important to keep in mind as to what you are putting in your mouth, what food. Pay attention. I just took a break a minute ago, and I see a mother feeding a 70-year-old little girl, and she put down a cover of sugary donuts. I mean, she's developing a taste for sugar. Sugar, incidentally, is as addictive, as 4 times more addictive than cocaine. Yeah, 4 times more addictive than cocaine. So in summary, in the culture of wellness, use this magic 8-wheel. You can print it off my internet. It's about self-responsibility, nutrition, physical fitness, spirituality, a way of life. Education begins before birth, integrating the mind, body, spirit connection, and know your blood factors, know your health factors. That's critical. You are what your blood work is in reality. So if you do these 8, you can print them off the internet, watch our other shows, read our books. We get CDs, CD-ROMs. I'm about wellness. I'm about wellness. And I appreciate you giving me this opportunity to speak to you. And follow us on CashmanHealth.com, resources, 80 TV shows, all about health. All about health. I might have one on there. Yeah, even dancing is on there. That's about health, isn't it? About relaxation and exercise. Do an exercise that you enjoy. Then you're much more likely to do it. Thank you very much. We love you for allowing us to speak to you. Namaste. Hope to see you during the next show. If you see me at Starbucks, say hello. I'll talk to you.